am 106 years old. Take a moment and let that number settle. 106. I was born before televisions filled living rooms, before planes stitched continents together, before medicine came in bottles with names nobody can pronounce. I have watched empires fall, cities rise, and people forget things they once knew in their bones. I've buried friends who were stronger than me, doctors who warned me, neighbors who followed every new rule perfectly and still didn't make it past 70. And I'm still here. Not because I was lucky, not because I had special genes, and certainly not because I listened to every expert who came knocking with advice. I'm here because of what I ate, and maybe more importantly, what I ignored. For most of my life, food wasn't entertainment. It wasn't politics. It wasn't fear. It was fuel. It was tradition. It was something you respected, not something you obsessed over. Somewhere along the way, people stopped trusting their own bodies and started trusting labels, charts, and commercials. Food got confusing, dangerous even. Every decade brought a new villain and a new miracle. I lived through all of it. And today, I want to tell you something that might upset you. The foods they told you to fear, those foods kept me alive. I'm not here to sell you a program. I'm not here to argue studies. I'm just an old person who outlived most advice. These are the 5 foods I've eaten consistently for nearly a century, and why I believe they're the reason I'm still breathing, thinking, remembering, and waking up curious instead of tired. Let's start with the one that always causes trouble. Food number 1, strong coffee, nothing fancy. I've had coffee almost every morning since I was old enough to pour it myself. Not sweetened desserts pretending to be coffee, not flavored syrups or whipped cream, just dark, bitter, honest coffee. Over the years, I've been told it would ruin my heart, steal my sleep, weaken my nerves, and shave years off my life. Funny thing is, the people who warned me often looked more exhausted than I ever felt. Coffee does something important. It wakes up more than your eyes. It tells your body that the day has begun, that it's time to move, to think, to engage with the world instead of hiding from it. I never drank it late at night. I never drowned it in sugar. I respected it. And here's what I noticed after decades of paying attention. People who wake up slowly, who keep their minds alert, who maintain routines, those people last longer. Coffee supported that rhythm. The real danger was never the coffee. It was the panic around it. Fear ages you faster than caffeine ever could. Food number 2, eggs, whole and unapologetic. There was a time when eggs were considered one of the most complete foods a person could eat. Then suddenly they became criminals. Too much cholesterol, too much fat, too risky. I never stopped eating them. Eggs are simple, they're honest. They contain everything required to support life. When something can become a living creature on its own, you should pause before calling it unhealthy. The yolk is not the enemy. The yolk is the strength. Over the years, I've watched people strip their food of anything satisfying, then wonder why they're tired, foggy, irritable, and hungry all the time. Eggs kept me steady. They gave me energy without spikes, strength without heaviness. I ate them in the morning and didn't think about food for hours. Your body recognizes real nourishment. It relaxes when it gets it. That calm, that stability adds years. Food number 3, meat from animals that lived outside. This is the one people argue about the most, so let me be clear. I'm not talking about mystery meat wrapped in plastic and injected with everything under the sun. I'm talking about meat from animals that moved, grazed, and lived under open sky. When I was younger, meat was respected. You didn't eat it mindlessly, you didn't waste it, and you didn't apologize for it either. Your muscles, your blood, your bones, none of them are made from processed powders. They're built from dense nutrition, iron, minerals, things that come from the earth, not factories. I've seen people cut meat out completely and grow weaker year by year, mistaking restraint for health. I've also seen people eat nothing but meat without balance and suffer too. Longevity isn't about extremes, it's about alignment. For me, responsibly raised meat provided grounding, strength, warmth, a sense of being physically supported by the world instead of constantly battling it. Weakness invites illness. Strength resists it. Food number 4, fermented foods. Long before they were trendy, we never called them fermented, we just called them food that lasted. Pickled vegetables, cultured dairy, foods that changed over time instead of rotting. Your body is not a machine, it's a living ecosystem, and ecosystems need balance. Every generation before mine understood this instinctively. They preserved food not just to survive winters, but because those foods made digestion easier, smoother, quieter. A quiet stomach is a gift. When digestion works, everything works better. Your mood stabilizes, your sleep deepens, your immune system stops overreacting to everything it sees. I noticed something over the decades. People who constantly fought their own digestion aged faster. They were always uncomfortable, inflamed, distracted. Fermented foods kept things flowing, calm, predictable. And predictability is the enemy of stress. Food number 5, dark, bitter cacao, not candy. This one surprises people. I'm not talking about chocolate bars with wrappers and slogans. I'm talking about real cacao, the kind that's bitter, grounding, and slightly unpleasant if you're used to sweetness. I didn't eat it for pleasure, I ate it for alertness. As the years passed, I noticed my mind mattered more than my body. Plenty of people lived long lives physically, but lost themselves mentally. Cacao sharpened me. It lifted my mood without making me restless. It gave me clarity without anxiety. Bitterness in small doses is good for you. It reminds your nervous system that not everything needs to be sweet to be nourishing. Life is bitter sometimes. Learning to digest bitterness without rejecting it builds resilience. Resilient people live longer. The pattern people miss. Now, if you're listening closely, you'll notice something. These foods are not miraculous. They're not exotic. They don't come with dramatic promises. What they share is something much more important. They are real. They don't confuse the body. They don't demand constant decision-making. They don't trigger fear. Every decade, people chase novelty, new powders, new restrictions, new enemies. But the human body hasn't changed nearly as much as the marketing around it. I lived long because I didn't constantly fight myself. The part nobody likes to hear. I need to tell you this, even if it's uncomfortable. Food alone does not keep you alive. I've seen people eat perfectly and rot from the inside because they were bitter, angry, and lonely. I've seen people eat terribly and still laugh their way into old age. The food is the foundation, but the house is built from something else. You need purpose. You need forgiveness. You need connection. I stayed curious. I stayed engaged. I forgave more than I held grudges. I woke up with something to do, even if it was small. Your body listens to your thoughts. Your organs respond to your mood. You can't nourish a body that's constantly bracing for disaster. Why this matters now? You live in a time of noise, endless advice, endless warnings, endless contradictions. People are exhausted, not because they lack information, but because they lack trust. Trust your body again. Feed it real things. Stop interrogating every bite. Stop outsourcing your instincts. Longevity isn't built from fear. It's built from consistency. I didn't live to 106 by chasing perfection. I lived by avoiding panic. Eat food that your grandparents would recognize. Move your body gently but often. Laugh more than you worry. And when the world tells you everything you love is killing you, pause before you believe it. I've watched a lot of rules come and go. I'm still here.